Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite products from 2016. I have a whole bunch of items that I fell in love with this year or just continue to use throughout the entire year that really were my favorites, and I just wanted to compile them all into one video for you all. So if you want to see the things I loved during 2016, then keep watching. I don't really have any like rhyme or reason to the way that I'm going to go through these products, so I'm just going to dig in and start out with some of the first things that I just see. I have a box full of goodies here that have just a bunch of things that I really enjoyed using during 2016. So first thing I see is some hair products, and the first one I have is from Living Proof, and it is their Prime Style Extended. This is just their hair primer. It says that it gives like an extended style, so it helps to keep your style for longer, and I felt like it really helped to make sure my hair was smooth and kind of silky feeling, and it just really made my hair feel soft, and it just felt really good. So I liked using this product. I bought a couple of bottles of this throughout the year, so I really enjoyed using it. I'm gonna try really hard not to have anything on my teeth during this. So the next one I have is another hair product, and it is from OUAI, and it is their Wave Spray. This is a more recent find from 2016. I started using this probably in, well actually, you know, I think I got this over the summer originally, and I really liked it then, and I repurchased it in a full size because it came in one of my box of styles. And I really like it because it gives a really nice texture to my hair. I can put it on my hair dry, I can put it on it wet, and it just gives it a little bit of that like beachy kind of textured hair. So I really enjoy using this product. One of the skincare items that I really enjoyed using this year was from Tatcha, and it's their Polished Deep Rice Enzyme Powder. And this is a exfoliating powder. It is kind of like a grayish color. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's just a very light texture, and you don't feel like it's going to work really well because it's just kind of this soft, fine powder. But then whenever you add water to it and you use it on your face, it really does such a good job of polishing your skin. So it leaves your skin looking nice and radiant, and it just feels refreshed. But it doesn't feel like you just went after your skin with like scrubbing like action hardcore. So it's nice and gentle on the skin, but it does like the best job I've ever seen of a product exfoliating, like a physical exfoliant. So that's the Tatcha Rice Enzyme Powder. The next skincare item that I really liked this year was the Korres Advanced Nourishing Sleeping Facial. So I use this pretty much every single night when I go to bed. I use a thin layer of it, and I just put it all over my face, and when I wake up in the morning, my skin feels nice and hydrated, and it feels more plump and even toned, and it just does everything that I want it to do. So this one has been my go-to. I've gone through a couple of jars of this now, and I just really find that it works the best for me. So this one is a good one. I also really like their face wash from the same line. Another skincare item that I really enjoyed this year is the TLC Framboos Glycolic Night Serum from Drunk Elephant. And this is a chemical exfoliant because it is 12% AHA, which means that it's going to help to exfoliate your skin and help regenerate like new cells, because you're getting rid of that top layer with this chemical exfoliant. It works really well, and I've gone through a couple bottles of it now, so it's definitely something that I highly recommend, and I've repurchased a couple of times now. Keeping in that skincare theme, I have this Ultra Repair Cream from First Aide Beauty. This is an all over body and even face. I've used it on my face before too, but I prefer to use it on my body. But it is a hydrating cream, and it's really thick, and you can tell it like doesn't, it's just like a really thick cream. And I have been a like hardcore fan of the Josie Maran Whipped Body Butter because it just does such a good job of hydrating my skin without giving me like any irritation. So I often have a problem with body butters and lotions, because if I were to put on a lotion after I shaved my legs or something, I would get really bad razor burn because my skin is so sensitive. But the Josie Maran product pretty much never failed me. It always left my skin really nice and hydrated without irritating my skin at the same time. And I hadn't found anything that worked similarly until I found this product this year, and I got this probably back in November, so it's more of a recent discovery, but nonetheless one that I loved during 2016 and I'll continue to love because it also does not irritate my skin at all. It just keeps it nice and hydrated, and it just works really well. And I think this is more affordably priced than the Josie Maran. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is. So they have it in different scents, and this one is just the regular like unscented version, and I also have one that's like a citrus vanilla one that I really like as well. So the First Aid Beauty line is a really good line of skincare products. Another skincare type item is actually a tool, and it is my PMD personal microdermabrasion device. And I have used this every single week for the last couple of years now, and it is my ride or die skincare tool. This is my favorite thing to do on a Sunday night. Like, I will clean my face off, I will wait for it to dry down, and then I'll use this tool, and it just makes your skin so soft, and the texture just improves so much, and your pores look so like refined, that I really believe this is like a great tool to have. So this is my go-to skincare tool. Now, sort of in the same skincare type sector, but not really exactly skincare, is my self tanner that I really liked this year. I've discovered this Zentan Premium Sunless Tanner. This year I got it on QVC, and it's their ultra dark weekly self tan, and this is the one that is supposed to be like really quick. So I think you just keep it on for like 1 to 2 hours. It says like as little as 45 minutes, and this will give you a really nice tan. So this was like my favorite self tanner because it smells really good. It smells like cucumber melon, and it doesn't leave like a lingering smell like some self tanners have after you wash it off, and it really does work as fast as it says it's going to. I've tried other like quick tan self tanners that don't give you the color that you are expecting it to, but this one works really well. So this was my favorite self tanner this year. Now we're going to get into the makeup, and I'm going to go through some of my favorite primers that I had this year. And by far my favorite primer is the Hangover RX. This is the Too Faced Hangover RX Replenishing Face Primer with coconut water. And this is my go-to primer. I've gone through like 4 bottles of this. It has been my ride or die. I think it works so well. It just gives you such a nice finish to the skin. It hydrates it, and it preps your skin for any makeup to sit really nicely. It doesn't make my skin get oily any faster. It's not necessarily a mattifying primer, but it does a really good job of giving like a really nice base to your skin and making your skin look just like plump and just really like refreshed. So that's why I really like this one. The primer that I used for any like problem areas I was having where I felt like I had enlarged pores or maybe a little bit more oiliness in the summertime, I used this Kane & Austin Prime and Protect Mattifying Primer, and it does have SPF 50 in this, so that's really great as well. But this primer is amazing. It is a little bit expensive. I want to say it's like $50-something, which is kind of crazy for a primer, but it's a really big bottle and you don't need very much. So I just take a little bit and I press it into my cheeks where I have like my larger pores, and then down my T-zone where I get extra oily. And it keeps my face matte all day long. Plus it gives a nice like blurred look to your pores, and it kind of has like a silicone-y texture to it, so it makes your makeup just glide on really nicely. So this has been my go-to mattifying, pore sort of minimizing primer. Foundation this year has been the Marc Jacobs Remarcable foundation, and this is in the shade Bisque. It is a little bit more expensive of foundation, but it lasted me pretty much the entire year because you barely need any to get the coverage that you want. It just feels like so nice on your skin. It lays really nicely with full coverage, but it doesn't feel like you have full coverage foundation on. It was hands down my favorite foundation, and it's pretty much empty. I need to get another one because I mean, I can't see myself ever not owning this foundation. It is that good. And then second to that would be my Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation and Concealer in one. This also is a really good full coverage foundation that just blends in really nicely. It stays all day long. You can build it up really easily, so you can do a thin layer all over your face, and then if you have some problem areas, you can just add a little bit extra and it'll build up really nicely and cover those problem areas without making your face look like you have a ton of makeup on. Both of these were my two favorite foundations from 2016. Two concealers that I really loved this year were the Maybelline Fit Me, and this is obviously a drugstore concealer that I really enjoyed using. It gives a really nice finish to your under eyes and it's really affordable, so this one is always a good option. And then a more higher end option that I really enjoyed this year is the Naked Skin from Urban Decay, and this just gives you the most beautiful finish for your under eyes and concealing. It just covers so well and it blends out really easily, and it just gives you this flawless finish. So this has definitely been my favorite, and then this has been my drugstore favorite for 2016. 2016, I used my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer all the time, and I pretty much used it as a contour. So this is in the medium deep matte bronze shade, and this was like the perfect shade for contouring for me. I just felt like it did a really good job, and I used this like all year long. And then towards the end of the year, I found this palette from Kevyn Aucoin, and I really fell in love with their medium sculpt powder. So this one right here really became a favorite for me towards the end of the year. But for most of the year, I used this as my contour powder, and it worked really well, and it smells like chocolate. So you can't go wrong with that, because who doesn't like chocolate? As far as like bronzing up my skin, I am a sucker for a good bronzer, so I have a lot in my collection, but the ones that I really loved this year were a couple of ones, different brands, so different kind of colors too, you'll see. So the first one is from Stila, and this one is more of a reddish undertoned kind of bronzer, and this is in dark. This is their Stay All Day bronzer. So I really like this one, especially when I have a little bit more tan, or sometimes when I'm feeling really pale and I want to really like bronze up my skin. This one does a really nice job, and it looks dark, but it honestly doesn't come off like as dark as it looks in the pan, because it really really blends out nicely. So another one that I used most of the year was this shimmer bronzing powder from Model Co. And this came in a BoxyCharm a while ago, and you can tell I used like the shit out of this bronzer. It was seriously my ride or die over the summer. It has this shimmer in it, but honestly you can't tell that it's that shimmery on your face. But in the summertime, when you have a nice glow, this just looks so beautiful on your skin. So this was definitely a favorite of mine in 2016. And then the last bronzer that really was my favorite cream bronzer was the Chanel Soleil Tan de Chanel, and this is really like a cream to powder formula almost, because it really doesn't dry like a cream. I'm not a huge fan of cream formulas just because I have oily skin, but this worked on my skin as well, and honestly it just has a really beautiful texture and finish that just looks really nice and warm on your complexion. This was another favorite bronzer of mine from 2016. For my eyebrows this year, I sort of rotated out a bunch of different products, but one product that stayed pretty consistent is this Bodyography Brow Trio, and you can tell when I open this up, it's like I used so much of this. You can tell it's like pretty much gone in this pan, and this pan is almost like done. But this was my go-to brow powder. It just filled in my brows really nicely. I liked that it was a trio of colors. I could mix them to get my perfect shade no matter what color my hair was at the time. I could change it up to be a little bit more warm if my hair had a little bit more red in it. I could make it a little bit more dark if I had like a darker hair color. So this was my favorite brow powder. This is the L'Oreal Brow Plumper, and this is by far my favorite brow mascara. It is very similar to the Benefit Gimme Brow. It really builds up your brows with fibers, so it makes them look thicker. It holds them in place really well without feeling like crunchy or textured or anything, and it has like a nice tint to it. So this product was also another staple of mine for my brows. I used it all year long. I've gone through several of these, and it really is like my favorite brow product, and it is super affordable because it's drugstore and it's L'Oreal. For blush, I'm not really like a huge blush person. I mean, I use blush every day, but it's not something that I really like am into, you know, like I don't have a bunch of different colors that I'm like, oh my god, this blush color is amazing. So I kind of always gravitate towards like the same type of color, which is like more of like a mauve pink. And the one that I really loved this year is from Amazonian Clay, or Tarte, the Amazonian Clay blushes, and this one is in the shade Cherished. I have it on my cheeks today. This is just a really beautiful pinky sort of mauve shade that just looks really nice on the skin, and it lasts all day long because I want a blush that's going to last throughout the day without touch-ups, and this line really does that. So this has been a really heavily used blush in 2016. And the next thing is from the Becca Cosmetics Jaclyn Hill collaboration, and this was their palette that they put out, and I really loved this shade here, which was Amaretto, and I also really liked this shade that is Rose Spritz, and it's like a luminous blush, so it has like a nice radiance to it. So I really enjoyed using these two blushes as well throughout the year. There was a time when this palette was like all I used on my face. I would use this to sort of warm up my cheeks, and then this on the apples of my cheeks. And then my favorite highlight shade for the year would have to be Champagne Pop, and that is, ooh, sorry, this keeps falling. That's this one right here is Champagne Pop, and I mixed it in a lot with the Prosecco Pop, but I would just mix them together and put that on my cheeks, and I wore this for most of the year. I used to have Champagne Pop in like a single shadow, but I gave it to a friend once I got this palette set, because I mean, who's gonna go through like an entire highlight that size? I mean, honestly, so why not share it with a friend? So that's what I did. My favorite setting powder this year was definitely the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. This was my go-to. I've gone through several of these, and it just really sets your powder or your face makeup so nicely, and it keeps it from getting oily throughout the day. If you have oily skin, I think you're really gonna like this one. To me, it just sets down your makeup so well, and it gives you this like flawless finish. So this has been my go-to setting powder. Favorite setting spray in 2016 was definitely the Fix Plus from MAC. This I would just like spray all over my face, and it would just make all of my makeup sort of like melt together and looks really nicely. You can actually use this like when you're highlighting too. So sometimes I would like spray this on a brush and then dip it in my highlighter and put it on my cheeks, and that's what gives you that like super like luminous like glow on your cheek, and that always worked out really nice as well. So this was my favorite setting sort of spray. Go to sort of eye primers were the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. If you want your eyeshadow to last all day long, this was my go-to product. And then just as like an everyday sort of neutralizing base before I put on shadows was the MAC Soft Ochre. Both of these were my favorites when it came to prepping my eyes. Speaking with eyes, my favorite eyeshadows from the year, I know that this palette actually got like recalled, I guess you could say, from this is the Becca and Jaclyn Hill eyeshadow palette, but really I loved mine. I didn't have any problems with mine. I got it before they pulled them from the shelves, and I used mine all the time. I love this color here, and I also really loved this color. So this is Cordial and this is Champagne Toast, but these two were my favorites. I wore them like every single day to work for such a long time. So I really liked this set here. And then also from MAC, I really liked using the shade Saddle. Wedge is like a staple for me every day, just in my crease area. And then also Soft Brown from MAC. Then from Makeup Geek, I really enjoyed Cocoa Bear. So these were like my everyday shades that I used all, like pretty much every single day to work. I used some variation of these browns as my eyeshadow look on a day-to-day basis. A couple other skincare items that I kind of forgot to mention that I fell in love with in 2016 are face masks. So or sheet face masks to be more specific. But in 2016, I fell in love with using these sheet masks because they're just so much easier than having to have like a pot of, you know, face mask that you have to put on your face and wash it off. To me, these are so much more easy to use and travel friendly. You can just throw it in your bag. You can wear them. You take it off and you like rub in product or like treatment they have that's like sitting on these face masks. You just rub it into your skin and it helps to really nourish your skin, and it made me use masks more frequently because I found it easier to use face masks. So these are some that my mom picked up for me during, like for Christmas, they were stocking stuffers. I have used the Sephora collection before and I love theirs. I think that they do a really good line of face masks, so those are really good. Really, you can find these sheet masks anywhere now. They're really popular and I would definitely suggest, you know, trying them out. They have a million different types. This one is a brightening one. This one is a soothing and this one is refreshing. I tend to go for like the hydrating masks because I want my skin to have like a nice boost. So when I take the mask off, I feel like my skin is nice and plump and hydrated. Sheet masks were definitely a go-to for me in 2016. Another eye staple for me were these Bobbi Brown Long Wear Cream Shadow Sticks. I used these a lot. Anytime I just wanted a quick look, I would just use both of these. This one is in the shade Truffle and this one is in Dusty Mauve. And I would use both of these together. This would be my highlighting stick and this would be the shade that I wore like on my eyelid, and I would just blend them out really quickly. You could use your finger, you know, you could use a brush. They're super easy to use. They last all day long. And whenever I was like running late for work or I wasn't really feeling like doing a full-on like eye look, just wanted some color really quickly, some definition, I used these two eyeshadow sticks from Bobbi Brown. I had two favorite mascaras, and these are two mascaras that I've loved for years, more than just 2016. One of them I don't have right now, and that's the Tarte Lights Camera Lashes. That is one of my go-to higher end mascaras. It works really well. It gives volume and length, and it's definitely a favorite of mine. And then the other one is a drugstore, and this is the L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black. And this is a really great, really dark black mascara that gives lots of volume to your lashes. So I've used this for years as well, and it is still a favorite of mine. Lip products in 2016, I really felt like I used a lot more like balms and treatments on my lips on a day-to-day basis. I don't really wear like lipstick or lip color unless I'm filming a video or I have like an event or like I'm going to a party or something, you know. Like I typically don't wear anything on my lips other than lip balm. This year for like the lip treatments, I kind of fell in love with Dior, and I have used their Color Reviver lip balm for a while, but I found this Dior Lip Glow pomade, which is like a oil gel treatment, and it leaves your lips super soft and shiny, and it's like a glossy color, but it also tints your lips, so it gives it like a natural pink flush to them. So this is great for the girl who doesn't want to wear, you know, like a bold lip color, but they want a hint of like color that looks natural and also like treating their lips at the same time. This was definitely a favorite of mine. Also, I still love the lip balm version, and I also really fell in love with the Lip Maximizer Collagen lip gloss from Dior as well. And this was a just really like sheer pink lip gloss that I could throw on my lips and give it just a little bit of shine if that's what I was looking for. So this one was my favorite lip gloss this year. A colored lip product that I really liked this year was the line from Clinique, the Clinique Pop lipsticks, and I really enjoyed the shade Bear Pop because this was just a really nice nude neutral. So Whenever I do wear lipstick out, I typically am not going to go for a bold shade. I wear a lot of bold shades like on camera because they look really good like on video, but in real life, like I just don't necessarily want to wear a bold lip every single day. So this one from Clinique in Bear Pop was a favorite of mine for like going out to parties, and I wanted just like a nude lip. This was the lip that I went for. Now, if I did want to do a bold lip, the one that I really liked is more of a dark purpley shade, and this one from Julep in Strut was definitely a go-to of mine. It's just this really pretty purple shade. I loved this lipstick. I wore it in several videos, several photos. I always got compliments on it. It's a beautiful shade, and I really love this packaging because it's magnetic and it just feels really nice and high-end. The foundation brush that I really loved this year was from Aide Cosmetics, and it is their Heavenly Skin foundation brush, and I actually got this with like their Bye Bye Pore powder, and so like you're supposed to use it with their powder, but I really liked using it with foundation. I honestly didn't find a foundation that it didn't work well with, and I think I like it so much because it's really dense and it's really large, so it would cover a lot of my face at one time, and so I was feeling like I was doing my foundation quicker and it was blending it out really nicely. So I really loved using this, pretty much what I use every single day for my foundation, and it's held up really well throughout the year. I know it's kind of dirty right now, but it's really a nice soft brush and it works really well. So this was my foundation brush that I like to use. And then of course, I also really loved the Beauty Blender. This is a new one that I just got, but this was my go-to for blending in my concealer and using my setting powder. This was the tool that I always use. In general, a brand of brushes that I fell in love with this year were the Zoeva brushes. And I really specifically enjoyed using their 105 Luxe Highlight brush. This is what I use to highlight, and it just works really well because it just fits really nicely in this area where you would highlight, and it's tapered so you can also do like your nose really easily, and it just works really well. It's the perfect size. It's nice and fluffy. It picks up a good amount of product. So again, the 105 Luxe Highlight. They're eyeshadow brushes that I really loved this year that I've been using a lot are the 221, the 231, the 227, and the 228. So these were the brushes that I frequently used, and I love them. They work really well. In general, I think that the brand Zoeva has great brushes for a really affordable price. So these were my go-to brushes. They have a lot of other ones that I like too, but these were the ones I felt like I reached for most throughout the year. And the perfume that I have been loving is the Midnight Floor from Nest Fragrances, and this is a fragrance that I first tried out like last December, I think, and I fell in love with it, and then I bought this giant size of it because it just smells so good. It's just nice and sort of like masculine smelling. I like those like amber scented, maybe a little bit more masculine scents. I'm not like a floral scented person, but this is my definite favorite fragrance for the year. We're down to the last product that I have as a favorite from 2016, and it is from Julep, and it is their Tada Quick Dry Drops. And I love this because I pretty much always paint my own nails. I typically don't get my nails done because I like to sort of switch out my nail color quite frequently. And the problem with getting my nails painted or painting them myself is that I'm really impatient when it comes to letting them dry. So I always will nick them or smudge them or something. Any type of product that's going to help dry down my nails faster is something that I definitely need. And this one works really well. I used to use those like old school spray cans of like the, honestly, I don't know what it is. It was probably some sort of like toxin, I don't even know. But you would spray it on your nails and it would dry them really quickly. And I switched over to using this product a couple years ago, and I still love it. I bought a new bottle of it this year because my last one ran out, and it just dries your nails down really fast. So this was my go-to nail product from 2016. Okay guys, so that is everything that I really loved using in 2016. These were my favorite products There are a lot of products that I liked and I used throughout the year, but these were the ones that were my most used, my most reached for products. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and like always, give it a thumbs up if you did and subscribe to see more from me. I would love to hear what you guys loved in 2016. If you tried any of these products and they were your favorite as well, let me know down in the comments. Or if you have other products that you guys thought were great that I didn't mention, let me know down in the comments, because I'm always looking for new recommendations to try out. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!